Week in Review. The meeting between Obama and Netanyahu leads to statements of mutual admiration. At a national conference on service, what Jewish leaders have to say, and sitting down with the president of the Conference of Presidents of Major Jewish Organizations, and more of the Jewish news that's changing your world on this episode of the Week in Review. Hello, and welcome to the Jewish Channel's Week in Review. I'm Stephen I. Weiss. President Barack Obama and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met in the White House this week and made cordial statements of mutual caring and admiration. Obama called the discussion, quote, excellent, and spoke about the condition of the U.S.-Israel relationship.
The bond between the United States and Israel is unbreakable. It encompasses our national security interests, our strategic interests, but most importantly, the bond of two democracies who share a common set of values and whose people have grown closer and closer as time goes on.
Prior to this meeting, much discussion had centered around the last meeting between the two heads of state, at which many have suggested that Obama snubbed Netanyahu by not scheduling a mutual photo opportunity or press briefing. That meeting came shortly after Netanyahu and others tackled America's response to construction in East Jerusalem during the AIPAC conference, and a blow-up in March when Israel surprised Vice President Joe Biden with an announcement of new construction there as he was arriving in Israel, to which the Vice President responded with the word condemn. This general area of concern regarding the relationship between Obama and Netanyahu was broached by an Israeli reporter at the press briefing.
Mr. President, in the past year you distanced yourself from Israel and gave a cold shoulder to the Prime Minister. Do you think this policy was a mistake? Do you think it contributes to the bashing of Israel by others? And is that you change it now? And do you trust now Prime Minister Netanyahu?
The President responded in strong terms.
Let me first of all say that the premise of your question was wrong, and I entirely disagree with you. If you look at every public statement that I've made over the last year and a half, it has been a constant reaffirmation of the special relationship between the United States and Israel, that our commitment to Israel's security has been unwavering. And in fact, there aren't any concrete policies that you could point to that would contradict that. And in terms of my relationship with Prime Minister Netanyahu, I know the press, both in Israel and stateside, enjoys seeing if there's news there. But the fact of the matter is that I've trusted Prime Minister Netanyahu since I met him before I was elected president, and have said so both publicly and privately.
Netanyahu and Obama also expressed hope to proceed with peace talks soon and expressed a shared concern over the situation in Iran. Moving on, a national conference on service was held last week, featuring elected leaders and others trying to change the world right here in the United States. Christian Eden stopped by to find out what Jewish groups and leaders had to contribute.
Volunteering for Jewish charity work just got easier thanks to Repair the World, a year-old organization aimed at promoting service among American Jews. At a launch ceremony held last week, they introduced a new online search engine where users can find postings from a variety of Jewish nonprofit groups. And Repair the World's board chair, Lisa Eisen, noted how going digital will help bring younger Jews to service work.
We're focused primarily on young people and getting them involved in service, and I think there's a lot of demand. We're now trying to make sure there are high-quality opportunities for them in which they can serve as Jews in the world. And this Jewish service search engine that has just been launched by Repair the World is going to be a great way for people to match up their interests with appropriate volunteer opportunities in their own communities and in Israel and elsewhere.
Repair the World CEO said making the Jewish service work experience both fun and educational is a driving principle.
The Jewish community, although it only represents about 2% of the national community, is similar to the national community in its diversity. So you need different modes of engagement, different types of service programs. The second big thing for us is a focus on what we call Jewish service learning, which are programs that combine authentic hands-on service work by groups of Jewish young people with Jewish learning and reflection and contextual education that not only deepens that service experience, but forges a sense of Jewish community during the service experience.
To hear from the leaders of some Jewish nonprofits about what they think of Repair the World, please tune into the broadcast version of the Week in Review.
Thank you, Christian. And now for this week's Newsmaker segment, we'll be speaking with the president of the Conference of Presidents of Major Jewish Organizations, Alan Solo. The Conference of Presidents represents 52 different Jewish organizations, ranging from political advocacy groups from across the spectrum to service organizations, denominations, and others. All right, Alan Solo, thank you for joining us on this week's Newsmaker segment.
My pleasure.
So let's start with, obviously, the meeting that happened this week between Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Obama. What did you think of the meeting?
Well, the reports on the meeting have been excellent. I have not had a chance to talk to any of the principals yet, although I will have the opportunity to visit with the Prime Minister later this afternoon. But the joint statement that they made together at their open press conference in the Oval Office was certainly encouraging, and the subsequent reports that have come out from the White House and also from the Israeli officials seem to indicate that it was a very positive meeting. And, of course, I'm delighted about that.
Now, I want to tackle one of the reasons why I think we wanted to have you here right now is this op-ed that you wrote, Only Israel Making the Effort Toward Peace, in which you said that Israel basically does not have peace partners on the other side of the table.
I didn't exactly say that. I said that there were encouraging words coming from the Palestinian leadership, and I've had the opportunity to meet with senior members of the Palestinian leadership over the past month or so, but that those words have to be followed up by deeds.
Mm-hmm. Which is what I wanted to tackle, because at the beginning of the month, President Abbas met with President Obama and with a number of Jewish leaders. And there was a lot of statement about positive feeling coming out of those meetings. What's changed over the last month that went from June 6th, those meetings, to June 29th, this op-ed?
I don't think anything changed. I was present at the meeting of Jewish leaders with President Abbas, and in fact I was the first one who spoke after President Abbas spoke. And in the interest of candor, I said directly to him essentially what I wrote in that op-ed column. So that was no surprise to the Palestinians or to their leadership. So I don't think anything changed. And I still think the meeting was positive. His response was, on a number of different issues, I think, fairly positive. He
wanted to make these steps that you talk about.
Well, he said he laid down certain conditions for the return to direct negotiations, which I think I would characterize them as somewhat softer than some of the conditions that had been stated, let's say, before he came to the United States.
More of this interview is available on the full broadcast version of the Week in Review. That's all for this week. For more news and analysis from the Jewish Channel during the week, please check out our blog at newsdesk.tjctv.com. From all of us here at the Jewish Channel, be well. The Jewish Channel is available on cable: Iowa Optimum Cable Channel 291, Time Warner Cable Channel 528, RCN Channel 268, Verizon Fios Channel 900, and Cox Cable Channel 1. For more information, visit tjctv.com.